Oh my goodness. I am so, as always, super duper excited. I am so excited because we have the phenomenal, the amazing, the juicy, and you'll find out why we call her juicy in a moment, Shardene Blake. She is on here, and I am so delighted that she has joined SuperWomenCan Podcast today. But more importantly, we know that Superwomen Can is a podcast curated to elevate women of color and allies to be their true successful versions of themselves, smashing through what is now concrete people, concrete ceilings, and getting to the highest heights. And it's possible. We can do it because Superwomen can, and we are indeed all superwomen. So we have a superwoman, Shardene Blake, here, and I'm delighted and excited for her to share more about herself. Without further ado, I don't want to steal thunder. Tell me all about you.
Hiya, thanks for having me on, Samantha. This is really, really exciting. So I am a professionally trained actress and I coach people in public speaking. And the reason I do that is because even though I was a trained actress and I was absolutely fine standing on stage, being a character, living the life of somebody else, like I had no problem doing that at all. When it came to being me, I would literally crumble. Like I would go to an audition room and they'd ask me things about myself and I'd be like, oh, like I'd stutter, I'd go all red, I didn't know what to say. And it basically boiled down to like, I didn't really know who I was. I didn't really have much confidence who I was. My self-esteem was quite low. And I started to do a lot of personal development, lots of courses and stuff like that. And one day it all just clicked. I was like, hold on a minute. And I just started getting on stage. I started speaking as me, sharing what I had to say. And I used my training as an actress, like I used the vocal techniques and all of that stuff. And like together, oh my God, I just felt like unstoppable, like so confident. So now I share that with other women because I feel like it should be something that's ingrained in us from when we're very, very little.
You're unstoppable. I couldn't help but do those lyrics. Yeah, you are. Yeah, that is amazing. You are a fireball, definitely. Now, Juicy Shardene, there's other things that you do, and I excitedly see these every single morning. Please tell us how juicy you are.
Right, so I love a green juice because when I had my son, I think I put on 5 stone. And then when I had him, I couldn't lose that weight. Like Heat magazine and all of that lied to me. You know, all these celebrities, they have a baby and then like super slim, all of that. I thought that would happen and that did not happen. And so I got really ill. Like I had really inflamed wrists. I couldn't pick my son up. It really hurt. And I was sent away with like a repeat prescription for anti-inflammatories. And when I went to get this repeat prescription, not even joking, I went into Tesco to the pharmacy, and on the way I stopped at the newspaper stand and I opened a paper, and it opened on this article that said, don't take anti-inflammatories long term, instead cut out sugar, processed foods. And so that's what I did. And I started juicing. I had a green juice every day. I stopped eating processed food. I cut out meat. I cut out dairy. And within 9 months, I had lost all the weight. I totally cured my wrists with no medication whatsoever. Wow. And I just felt the best I'd ever felt in my life. After like a decade of yo-yo dieting, I felt amazing. So that's how I started on my little journey of personal development. My mind was so clear. I think I'd been in such a brain fog for so many years. I started like, sounds a bit weird, but like I started to hear my intuition. Like I could start to hear little nudges in my day, like go to the library, pick up this book. And that's how I started getting into personal development, because I thought it was for losers. I was like, self-help is literally for losers. Like, why would I do that? That is honestly how I used to think. And then once my mind was clear, I was like, hang on a minute, this makes total sense. So what I do, because I'm a big believer now in creating your own opportunities. So as an actress, like the industry, it can be really tough and brutal and hideous at times. And I thought, you know what? I love being on camera. and I've got something to share. So I started a breakfast show called The Daily Juice, where I make a green juice and I give a little pep talk to get people started on the day, because I was sick of like watching Piers Morgan slag off Meghan Markle every morning. Like, I just couldn't do it anymore. But it's ridiculous. So that's why I'm juicy. Watch the Daily Juice.
Extremely juicy. And those prep talks, and you do it on Instagram, right?
Well, actually, we've moved to YouTube. You can find it all on Instagram.
YouTube, girl.
Yeah, but we've moved to YouTube, branching out a little bit.
Amazing. And I'm going to put the link down to that, because it does give you what you need to kickstart your day. And one thing I know, that for you, Shardene, getting to that point wasn't an easy. You had to go through things, you know. Look how confident she is, beautiful, confident lady that she is. She's gone through stuff. We know that as Black women, generally speaking, we all go through some sort of battle. So I'd be interested to know, Shardene, what were your setbacks that got you to have your setup for success?
Well, first of all, I chose being an actress, which is just literally full of no's. Like, setback after setback. But I've got 2 children, and I don't know why I never really say like I'm a single mom, but I am. Like, I'm on my own with my 2 kids. I just kind of don't feel it. You know what I mean?
No, I understand. Yeah.
I feel like in the past, especially, there's been like quite a negative connotation attached to saying like, oh yeah, I'm a single mom, and like in pop culture, single moms get like slagged off, or they're like the butt of a joke or whatever. But actually, like, my life's a bit easier. Should I say that? I actually feel like it's easier being on my own with my children. I feel like yeah, it's a setback in that it's just me and the children. And like, even if you're in a relationship, being a mother, you have that emotional load that you have to deal with. You have all the mundane day-to-day of like just keeping your children fed and clean and going to clubs or appointments or school. Like, all of that is so I don't think it's spoken about enough. It's just like a given, isn't it? Guess what? You've got to look after the house, everything. And on top of that, be a successful woman. Like, it is a lot.
Modern society. It is a lot. So, Shardene, absolutely agree. I've got 5 children, and one on the way, as you know, number 6. And I agree. My husband works nights, and I'm not kidding you. When he's working nights, that means I've got to do the whole hog of putting the kids to bed, cleaning the house on my own, even sitting down and eating on my own, and then getting the kids ready in the morning. It's nowhere by far the same as yourself. I do get support, and I know that you get support as well, you know. But what I find is the organization is bang on when I'm on my own. Like, literally, boom, boom, boom. Things just happen, and it's because I'm not waiting for anyone else to do it. I'm not expecting, like, you sit there going, he's gonna get that done. He's gonna move that laundry. And it doesn't happen. And like, I realize that when I don't have that expectation that someone else is gonna have my back or do something for me or be there, I can just get it done. He went away for a week to his sister's wedding, and his niece's wedding, and it's exactly the whole week was the best week. No, I love my husband. You're a darling. If you're watching this, I love you, darling. But it was the best week. It was just so organized. My house was the cleanest it's ever been. I have no idea, but things just worked. And I think it's not tug of war. You just get on with it, don't you?
Yeah, I think it is that. It's like that. I feel like I think I do more, but in a way it feels a bit like less.
Yeah, because
that doesn't make sense, but I don't know. It's right. It is that emotional, that mental thing of thinking, I'm not doing that because you're not doing that. And that's quite exhausting, where, like, you're right, if you just do it, it's done. You don't have to think about it. Yeah. So in terms of like setbacks and things like that, I think the one thing that I had to really get my head round and stay true to was defining my own version of success. Because some people would look at me and say, well, you walked away from like a relationship and a whole lifestyle, and that might have been successful for them. Like, but I've got to stay true to what my definition of successful is. And like that, to stay somewhere where I know it's not right. Like, I know deep down in my soul it isn't right. That to me would be like the biggest obstacle for my life. And I think it was a case of like knowing if I didn't step out of that, I wouldn't be the person that I'm meant to be. Like, it just wouldn't have happened. Like, I would not be doing daily juice. I wouldn't be on this podcast.
Wow.
Like, I know that stuff wouldn't have really fallen into place for me because I'd have been too busy trying to put myself in a box or in a role to make that relationship work. And that's no good for me. And that's no good. That's no, like, that's no way, nothing. I don't want my children to look up to that and be like, oh, right, to be successful, I have to play small or be someone that I'm really not.
I love it. And you're incredibly successful at what you do. You are like a fireball, like literally, like honestly, you do what you do and you do it to the best of your abilities, but you get results for what you're doing as well. What tips would, because to me, I love your outlook, and I it never occurred to me, even just saying single mother, because it's got a negative connotation, and you've removed that. Now I'm just a mother, and how that kind of shifts the way that you feel inside. It never occurred to me, but yeah, that makes sense. What tips would you give to other mothers, whether or not they are, I don't even know what to word it, because I want to make sure it stays positive now that we've got you.
Well, you can say single and like whatever. Like, I feel like that's fine.
So tell me then, what tips would you give to women who are wanting to be successful in their game? Their mothers, they may not be, they're still maybe trying or whatever it is, but they want to be successful. They want to be, achieve your level of success or even more as they continue to progress in life. What tips would you give them? I suppose you do it all the time, aren't you?
But I think the most important thing is that you start to believe in yourself and you trust your own vision. Yeah. You trust intuition, because I think it's really easy to get wrapped up in what like society might think is the ideal thing for you to do, family, your husband, your partners. Like, I think you've really got to get a clear vision of what you want your life to be and believe it is possible for you. Because one of the best things I ever learned in personal development is that your mind has to prove you right. So and your mind's set up to help you in that way. So if I'm out here thinking like I'm useless, or like I'm just not going to be very successful, or I'm just going to earn a certain amount of money, my mind goes, oh, okay, then let's go and do that. And then it shuts me off to any opportunity that means I'm going to be bigger than that. So I've realized that I have to believe like the absolute most outlandish things about myself, actually, like probably borderline delusional, but I have to believe I am like capable of success, because my mind goes, oh, you think you've got your own breakfast TV show? Oh, well, let's go and make that happen then. And it starts to look for, so you're using your reticular activating system. Your reticular activating system is the filter for your mind, so that you're not overwhelmed by everything. It literally just filters out what you tell it. So I'm telling my reticular activating system, right, I've got my own breakfast show here, and it's going to be on a streaming platform. And so my mind then goes, looks for these opportunities. And what you think a coincidence is, it's like, oh, I really wanted to do this, and then that person just happened to like know someone who could help me, and you think, oh, what a coincidence. But it's not. It's your reticular activating system's got, oh, I've honed in on that opportunity. But if you feel like, if I was like, right, I really want a breakfast show, but oh, I don't know how to do it, or like no one's going to give it me, then my mind just goes, all right, just shuts down, and we don't ever look at that again. Like, it's a thing, like, and I can't stress this enough, like, just how do you think like these middle-aged white men become so successful? Because they believe that they are, and then their mind just looks for all these opportunities. Do you know what I mean? Like, once that was also a game changer. Like, once Trump got voted in, that changed my perspective of my reality. I was like, what? Like, how does he believe he can do this? Yeah, and then even through like COVID, I was like, why is this crufty old white man telling me stuff we know is not even true? Like, these perfect. And like, I'm not saying being competent, I'm not saying lie, I'm saying stay true to you and your integrity. But if these people can be this successful with like an ounce of competence, then look how talented we all are. And the only thing that's holding us back is that belief. I promise you, that is it. It's just like, have the confidence of an old white man. Like, that's what you need. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like they're so confident. And why?
My life is privileged, but I love what you're saying. I couldn't even stop laughing just then. But yeah, exactly. I mean, I completely agree. Like, I literally just say I'm a multi-millionaire, and the opportunities that come into my presence. I mean, even looking at last year, gifted to me must have been in excess of £40,000 in terms of opportunities, whether it was going on a retreat, going on various different things I had that were just gifted to me. And they just kept coming thick and fast. Initially, I was like, no, too fast. And then I had to deal with my mindset to say, this is what I wanted. Open the door. Do not cancel the pizza and accept it, all the abundance that's coming. And it sure did. It has changed my life. Last year was a catalyst, and this year is set to be even bigger and grander. So I can only imagine. And if you can just hear Shardene, like, she's a fireball, juicy fireball, and she is gonna rock it. So I am extremely excited to see where she lands next, because it's landing next, there'll be somewhere else going on from there. And I've got another question. I'm just gonna look at my little notes here, so I don't, because there's so much things swishing in my head from that conversation. I know that you have loads of things that you've got planned, and I know that they're all going to come to fruition. You've got things that you're going on now, you're helping so many women, you're just smashing open all these concrete ceilings. Now tell me, there's something that's coming up quite soon, and it's a School of Confidence, which I'm excited about for you. Tell me more about this and how it's going to make individuals, women, successful.
Yeah, so I just, like I said, like, I feel like if we can get this confidence, this self-belief, that is a massive part of living out the dream, whatever dream it is that you have yourself. I think that's a massive part of it. And everyone always asks me, like, how are you so confident? So I've set up a School of Confidence, and it's called How Not to Shit Your Pants. Because what I realized was, the reason you don't do things is because you get that, like, oh my God, I'm gonna shit myself feeling. But it's scary. You know it's the right thing to do. You know, like, it's gonna be a big, like, step in your your life for you. But you just get scared. Like, it's totally normal. It's just flight or fight response. It's the same feeling if you were gonna speak on stage, but you're not confident in public speaking. It's that. So I was teaching a lot of women about public speaking, about getting their message out there, about being themselves and, like, being authentic. And it boiled down to that. I was like, that shit your pants feeling, you're going to have it, and you've got to learn how to overcome it. So my School of Confidence is that, how not to shit your pants. And it's all this stuff that I know about personal development and public speaking, about, like, just waking up every day and thinking, like, how can I be the best version of me now? How can I live my best life today? And so I've made some courses, some masterclasses. We're going to have live events. Something I'm so excited about is we're having a networking event, and the first one is the 31st of January, and it's in Warrington. It's super easy to get to. All the information will be on my website and social media. But the other thing I've realized is it's so much easier to do this sort of stuff when you're surrounded by people who are of the same mindset. Because if you're out there and people think you're a bit delusional, then they're going to keep saying to you, like, be realistic, like, come on, be real. How are you going to do that? And the thing is, like, what is real? Because you can spend your time worrying about the worst case scenario and it isn't happening, or you can spend your time imagining it all working out, like, wonderfully, and that's not happening either. And your mind doesn't even know the difference between a real event or an imagined event. But as you're thinking those things, it's like a mental rehearsal. And again, you're telling your reticular activating system that information. So if you're, like, catastrophizing, worrying it's all going to go wrong, your mind will be like, oh, okay, it's going wrong. Let's find opportunities for it to go wrong. But if you're thinking about, yes, this is amazing, it's all working out, and your mind goes, right, let's find those opportunities. So what you don't need in your life is people saying, like, come on, let's be real, when really they're not being real. They're just thinking worst case scenario. So I think it's really helpful, and this has helped me so much, to surround myself with people who are of the same thinking of, do you know what, why don't we just think about the best case scenario? I'm not saying we don't plan for things. I'm just saying, let's have that expectation. And then when you've got other people around you and you're saying, my goal is to have a TV show, a breakfast TV show. And then the women around you are like, yeah, well, who do I know? Well, how can I help you? That's so much more helpful than someone going like, yeah, but how are you going to do that? And I just think, well, someone's going to do it, so why not me? Like, Piers Morgan can do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just need a mouth at the end of the day and something to say. I don't believe it's that hard. I feel like we make things harder than they actually are. So networking, to have this community of people, community of women, is part of this school of confidence. And I just want people to learn all this stuff about how the mind works, about even the vocal techniques, breathing techniques, all of this stuff if you want to speak on stage. And I think this is really important, that sometimes our voices are quite minimized. I feel like in the last few years, especially like women of color, I feel like we're getting out there more and more.
Yay.
But for years and years, I was a bit like, I don't know, I just put myself in a box. Samantha, I don't know about you. I'm sure you didn't. But I felt like I put myself in a box, especially when it came to culture and who I am. I was just like, no, I sort of shrank a little bit. I'm not doing that anymore.
I agree, because I think if it's any kind of box that I was in, it was the corporate box. Being there in that setting, there's only, you're so restricted all the time. But now owning my own business, like I am myself all the time. To be honest, I have probably different versions of myself, and I'm happy that I can go in between, and that's all me, and it's fine. I love who I am. I love how I project myself, and yeah. You know, I'm pointing the wrong way. My finger is the opposite way. You know, everything you've said about networking, like I said, your network is your net worth. I love that saying. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Exactly what you just said. We have to surround ourselves with like-minded people who will elevate you and help you to grow. Listening to this podcast right now is being around like-minded people that help to elevate you and help you to grow. And that's what we need to be doing with each other. Don't limit that. Like literally saying I'm a multi-millionaire. I've said it. I actually believe that I am a multi-millionaire. You know, literally. You know, I may not see it in my bank account just yet, but you wait and see. It's coming. And I love that you, like, I don't feel like a mad person saying that to you.
Yeah. Not a mad person.
I don't. But guess what? I surround myself with. Guess who I purposely surround myself with? People who are multi-millionaires. Like that is who I surround. I go and seek them out and go into their company, not because of their energy, but because I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to evolve, and I want to elevate. And I don't just do it for myself. I do it for others, because I want there to be a train of women doing the same thing. So attending an event that you've got, that sounds really exciting. That will be down below, and I love to see you there. So that is amazing. Get out there, you know, really showcase who you are by being with people who can show you as well. Now, that's exciting. I can't wait for you to start buzzing around and showing us more of what you've got putting out into the world, because the world will not be the same without what you've got. Let's just be real here. Now, I know that you've got to this level of success, and you continuing to rocket your fireball, as I mentioned. Now, if you had a looking glass, if you were to go 5 years into the future, what would you say to yourself in 5 years? Because like you said, you put so much out there into the world. Where do you see yourself? What's going to happen in the next 5 years for you, would you say?
I feel like the next 5 years, within 5 years, arena tour. Like I want to take How Not to Shit Your Pants out on the road. So I've got a podcast that I'm launching very soon. I want to take that out, and I am going to do an arena tour where you can come to my show. You know, like if I went to see Beyonce once, right? And the audience was such a mix of women, and mainly women. And I remember Beyonce saying, let me hear you if you feel like a queen. And there was a woman next to me, and she was like probably in her mid to late 60s, and she was like, yeah, I'm a queen. And honestly, she just changed, her energy totally changed. And in that minute, I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that for people. So How Not to Shit Your Pants arena tour, come, feel good, but have like tangible steps to when you go away and you think, do you know what? I'm going to take these action steps. I'm going to change my life. I want people to know that what they're living now, if they're not happy with it, that doesn't have to be it till you die. So definitely arena tour, book How Not to Shit Your Pants, the book, the TV show, The Daily Juice. So like a whole production company.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing.
Can you hear that? Can you see it? I can see everything you just said. I don't even see it as a like it's anything like is not unaccomplishable. Like I'm like, you're already there. Like it's literally 5 years. I think that you'll be on your own yacht by then. You'll be like, I'm gonna do a talk on a yacht.
Yeah, but I feel like I heard somebody say that who was it? I heard somebody talk about who they were asked who their hero was, and they said, my hero is me in 5 years' time. In 5 years' time, I want to be somebody who I would look up to and think, oh my God, you're my hero.
Oh, amazing.
I quite like that.
Oh, that I don't know why that made me feel, and I know why. That made me feel a little bit emotional. It's because there was a woman recently, and one of the things she said was that I don't believe in the word success. And when she said that, she said because it's just been diluted, it's lost its bite, it's not as juicy anymore. I don't like using the word juicy now you've been on today. And it made me think, what is people's definition of success? And what made me think is that we define success for ourselves. We have to define success for ourselves, because if your success might be one thing, my success might be a completely different one. If I look back at what I expected myself to be at 17, I have far superseded that person. 17-year-old me didn't even think I could go to uni. 17-year-old me didn't think I would be able to achieve. Masters was out of this world. I wouldn't even think I would be able to achieve that. And I've managed that. I've got went and did a degree, went and did masters. I went and traveled the world. The things, I bought a home. These things don't happen in my family, in my community. It doesn't happen. And to hear people saying to me, you are successful, you are inspiring, and all that good stuff, and you do it alongside nearly six children. I understand that I have a responsibility now. And yes, in 5 years' time, I would love to be like, I can't imagine being the best version of myself and saying, you are my hero. Wow, that is powerful. Like, whoever's listening to this is just little nuggets you're getting from Shardene. This is just a tiny piece of what she's capable of. But that's already set my mind going zoom. Think to yourself the same thing that she just said. Like, how can you be your own hero in 5 years' time? That is beautiful.
What does that look like? Who do you look like? Who do you look like if you are your own hero 5 years from now?
Whoa, that's just blown me away. I tell you, that's blown me away. That's really got me into some juicy thinking there, Shardene.
I have to take this on this juicy thing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I
like it. I love it.
Juicy. It's staying. It's staying for the rest of the podcast. If you want to paint in that, then go for it. No, seriously, that's powerful. And you've shared so much great stuff. But what is the key things? Like, if you had 5 tips to share with a woman just setting out, or even just wanting to what are the 5 tips you would give them to take away? Let's just do a takeaway. So
like what you've just said, define what success is for you. Forget everybody else, forget what people have tried what you're conditioned to think, society thinks. I know it's really hard, but sometimes even your own family, like my dad wanted me to be a solicitor, and I was like, what? I've been brought up in a house full of culture, music that's telling me to like stand up, to fight, all this stuff, and you want me to sit at a desk? No. That isn't me, but for other people that would be. So, but like sometimes you fall into this thinking of, oh yeah, I'm going to be this, but is that because your family said that, or because that's what society says? gut. So define that success for yourself and listen to your gut, like listen to who you are. Secondly, believe that you can do whatever it is that you want to do. And if you find that too much of a stretch, which I totally get, because 10 years ago, I probably couldn't have done that. Well, I definitely couldn't do that. That's why I wasn't successful, because I just couldn't believe that I could be. So one thing that really helped me when I first started personal development was saying to myself, everything is always working out for me. That's all you have to, because it takes away the bigness of your goal. But if everything's working out for you, you're still getting what you want because it's working out for you. And even if that's like down to like the small things like, oh, traffic's parting for me. Traffic parts for me, you know, Samantha. Next meeting, I was driving with my sister-in-law. She's like, oh my gosh, like, there's never any traffic when you're on the road. I was like, I know, because everything's working out for me. So if you can just repeat that as a mantra and start to believe that, that is a great way to get into the right. I believe that I can have whatever I want. Everything's always working out for me. One thing that we haven't really spoken about, but is massive, is well-being is the basis for everything. If you don't have your health, like physical, mental, emotional health, it is really difficult to achieve these things. You're going to burn out. You're going to be working to achieve that health. So I feel like well-being is the basis for everything. So stay hydrated, kids, eat your greens, all that good stuff, but well-being is everything. What else? 2 more tips. Just remember mental rehearsal. So your mind doesn't know what's real and what isn't. So stop lying awake at night thinking about worst case scenarios, because your body's having a physical reaction to that. You know, when you watch a horror film and your heart's going boom, 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 it's because your mind doesn't know that you're not being chased by a man with a knife. Like, it feels like it's real. So when you're in bed at night, let's start thinking about all the amazing things that could happen, because, and hey, that's much better. And you know what? Just say, and this isn't true, but just say none of this stuff works. How good are you going to feel just by like feeling this stuff and thinking this stuff? It does work, but do you know what I mean? Just for the sake of an argument where people go, oh, rubbish. But who cares? Would you rather spend your life feeling good about things or worrying about everything?
Yeah.
And then the last thing is, you are so powerful. Like, I don't even think you understand how powerful you actually are. There is so much creativity, knowledge. You have a voice all inside of you right now. You've just got to allow, relax, receive that abundance and let all of that out. Because the more you keep giving of your gifts, the more gifts that you get.
Oh, wow. I feel powerful now. And one thing you just said is look after your health. Then you get to enjoy your wealth. That's basically it, isn't it? Yeah. I agree with everything you said. That was powerful. Oh, I am so excited that she has been on here. So just to finalize, really, how are you going to hype up this session for those who want to skip to the end to see what it's all about? Tell us what is the slogan or last line you want to leave everyone with?
Right. So I feel like, if you, just one thing you can take away from this, go and do it, is that believe in yourself. Like, don't wait for anyone else to tell you how good you are or that you deserve something. I think it's from you. And it's going to be scary. It's going to be you're going to feel like you're going to shit your pants when you're going to step out and do those things and take action. But you have to do it. And come to my school of confidence, and I'll show you how to overcome that feeling. But that when you get that feeling, that's a good thing. That is a good thing, because you know something amazing is about to happen.
Amazing. Now I'm going to leave Shardene's details, her next event, all below. Click on those links. Now you know this. You need to follow. Your life is hanging in the balance, because you need to follow this wonderful, juicy girl who's lady woman. Let me make sure it's very clear, because she's going to really instill something amazing into your life. Like, literally, I feel like I'm unstoppable. I really need to put some music on this. Like, I'm unstoppable. I'm going to try and get some music, but obviously copyright and stuff. I'm going to make sure I can license and, all that good jazz. But I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on SuperWomenCan. For those who listen, please do drop your feedback below. Would love to hear your thoughts on what you've heard today. And thank you, Shardene. You have been amazing and inspirational and even motivational. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I've actually really enjoyed this. I feel like I've hyped myself up a bit.
Yeah, I do.
I feel motivated.
Take care, everyone.